So imagine you have an absolute classic, a song so well known and universally loved that there are literally no negative reviews or criticism ever spoken or written about the track. Well, in this video I take the position of being against the track and try to come up with some reasons or arguments to dislike it. It's a tongue-in-cheek video. It's not designed to be taken too seriously, and that's why I call this series Devil's Advocate. That's all coming up next with me, Dave, the album review guy. Hey everyone, I'm on a mission to revive that classic format, 70s progressive rock, and introduce it to a new generation of music lovers, as well as catering for all you current fans and devotees out there. Now join me in breaking free from the mundane and rediscovering the rebellious spirit of progressive rock music. For those of you new to my channel, you are most welcome, and I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, remember to hit the like button and do consider subscribing to join the channel and join the community. I'd love to have you on board. So in this episode, I'm looking at the song Have a Cigar by Pink Floyd from the Wish You Were Here album, released in 1975. Just to be clear, and for full disclosure, it is a track that I love very much. I tell you, it was really difficult to dig out the dirt on this one, but you can be sure that I found some. So here are my top 8 reasons to dislike the track, in no particular order. Reason 1, the lead vocals. Now, for this first reason, none of the band could be bothered to sing lead vocals on the track. Well, that's not quite the case, but it was one of perhaps the only 1 or 2 times that one of the guys from the band didn't complete the singing duty. I think probably the most memorable other occasion before this was when Claire Torrey sang the melody on The Great Gig in the Sky from that previous album, Dark Side of the Moon. Sid, David, Roger, Rick, and even Nick have all taken turns singing lead at some point.
I've got a bike, you can ride it, and if you like it, go to the boss.
Is there anybody in there?
Now, with this song being written by Waters, he felt that his own voice wasn't suitable, and it needed a gritty, more bluesy style. So he chose Roy Harper to supply these elusive lead vocals. Now, Harper's distinctive voice and delivery added quite a unique flavour to the track, making it one of the standout songs as a result. Now, this came about because Harper was recording an album of his own at Abbey Road at the same time Floyd were recording Wish You Were Here. He offered to do the vocals, and after a discussion with the band, and with Floyd on the verge of throwing away the song as they couldn't really find a suitable vocalist, Waters asked him to name his price to do it. Harper came up with a really unique fee for his services on this one, and what he did is he demanded a season tickets to Lord's Cricket Ground in London. This was probably worth around about, I don't know, perhaps £100 a year at the time, and this would mean that he could pop in and watch a match whenever he wanted to. Harper guessed really that he didn't expect to be around for more than 20 years, so this would be something he could treasure. Roger Waters, he gave it some thought and he agreed that it was a fair price, and this unusual arrangement was settled. Reason 2 is those satirical lyrics. Now, a feature of Roger Waters' lyrical style was his use of satire to get political and societal points across. An early example of this is seen in Money, where he criticised capitalism and greed. Grab that cash with both hands and make a stash, he sang.
With both hands and make a stash.
He later added, money is the root of all evil, somehow predicting perhaps the rise of the yuppies in the 80s.
Is the root of all evil today.
Have a Cigar is the band's satirical assault on the greasy music industry A&R types, people who love money and want to turn great songs into monsters. Well, I've always had a respect, and I mean that most sincerely. Song's lyrics heavily satirized the music industry, and this may not have resonated with all listeners who were either perhaps not familiar with the industry's dynamics or who prefer more straightforward themes to their music. Now then, before I continue with some of the other reasons, if you are enjoying the content in this video, please press that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the new releases on the channel. I'll leave some more details in that description section of the video as well. Back to the story. So, reason 3, the production style. Now, playing devil's advocate, the production of Have a Cigar is very polished and has a strong commercial sound to it. To some, this could feel really quite off-putting, as there would be those who perhaps prefer the rawer, more experimental aspects of Pink Floyd's earlier work. This one is a really slick song, and definitely not to everyone's taste. Reason 4, the musical simplicity. Now, along with that previous reason, Pink Floyd were renowned for grand, structured musical pieces. For example, from the same album, the title track, Wish You Were Here.
How I wish you were here.
Think of Atom Heart Mother combining rock and orchestra with experimentation. Or even Time from Dark Side of the Moon with its driving rhythm, haunting lyrics and Gilmour's solos. But for some, Have a Cigar is a more straightforward, bluesy, rock-orientated piece. A combination of Gilmour's guitars, Waters' bass, Mason's drums, and the stark wall of keys from Richard Wright makes it a full-on blues-orientated piece and not often used by the band that style. I'm sure not everyone would have enjoyed it. Reason 5, less emotional depth. Now, along with the simplicity of the music, it could be argued that the sarcastic tone of the song lacks the emotional depth and introspection found in other Pink Floyd tracks, therefore potentially making it less appealing to those who appreciate the band's more profound and melancholic side. I'm just saying. Reason 6, overexposure. It could be argued that, as one of the more popular and better-known tracks, there was a danger of it becoming overexposed and really quite annoying due to its constant airplay. Every band seems to have one of those tracks, don't you think? Similar examples are perhaps More Than a Feeling by Boston. How about Hotel California by the Eagles? Or Carry On My Wayward Son by Kansas?
Welcome to the Hotel California. Carry on my wayward son.
They're all great songs in their own right, but can be off-putting when played on the radio for what seemed to be the zillionth time. Reason 7, a heavy synth sound. Now, Pink Floyd's music was always about the mix of musical styles, but this track has heavy use of electric piano and synthesizers dominating it. Really, while not strictly offensive, the use of those synthesizers on this track may not be to everyone's taste. Reason 8, it's a transitional piece. Finally, I suggest that it could be seen as a transitional piece, separating the more heavyweight tracks on the album. The opening track, Shine On You Crazy Diamond, is immense and a classic. Closing track, Wish You Were Here, is the title track, another rich in textures and content.
How I wish you were here.
Listen, two very fine tracks indeed, but with Have a Cigar sandwiched in the middle, it could easily see why it could have been looked at as perhaps just a filler track. As I've said, before you shoot me, this is a song that I personally love very much indeed. The whole purpose of this pilot episode of The Devil's Advocate is to find fault, where so many before me have said it's perhaps perfect and faultless. Now, it may well be, but I've enjoyed looking at trying to find some kind of fault or weakness, and admittedly, I really have struggled to find many reasons with much credence. Leave me some comments down below with your thoughts on this Pink Floyd track, along with any other areas you've perhaps come up with that you think might have been classed as weak as well. I'm sure I didn't find them all. So until next time, I'll leave you with this Pink Floyd video on screen now, which is one I totally adore. I think you might do too.